Crimson blood, no hesitation. Breaking news, recruiting buzz. If it's Bama, yeah, it's us. When the whistle blows, somebody ain't right. Flags are flying, man, they way offsides. Hot takes hitting like a goal line stand. Championship talk is the master plan. Cotton bringing fire, Jeff bringing facts. From Saturday nights to unhinged bams. Depth charts moving, portals spin. If it matters in Bama, we're dialed in. So lace them up, let the debate begin. No neutral zones, we cross the line to win. Crimson Tide talk, no place to hide. You're tuned in the way, yeah. Offside. Let's go. Offside. Let's go. Offside. Let's go. Yeah. From Tuscaloosa to the nation, crimson blood, no hesitation. Breaking news, recruiting buzz. If it's Bama, yeah, it's us. When the whistle blows, somebody ain't right. Flags are flying, man, they way offsides. Hot takes hitting like a goal line stand. Championship talk is the master plan.
3, 2, let's go. Happy Thursday. I'm just kidding. Happy Sunday evening. This is not our normal live time, but we wanted to get in because Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9 FM. This guy, he's been all over the place recently. He's making the rounds. Just seems like everybody else is. Wyatt agreed to come on with us tonight to talk a little A-Day game. So Wyatt, how you doing, man? Welcome in.
I'm good. I'm fairly pink. I don't know if you can tell from the camera. I'm fairly pink from sitting out in the stands for a couple hours yesterday. But no, it was good. It was a lot of fun out at A-Day, and I'm excited to break it down with you guys today. Yeah,
I am too, man. There's been a ton of content, a ton of talk, some discourse even all over social media. We're active on X. You are too. For those of you who are watching on X, you seen it. It was yeah. There's some people who are happy with what they saw, some people who aren't, but obviously, we're going to talk quarterbacks at some point, Wyatt. But before we get there, man, were you under the goalposts like Nick and them, or were you in the stands?
No, we were over in the recruiting section. Alabama did not allow the media to film anything, so any pictures and videos from A-Day was coming from people who were hanging out in the stands. We were unfortunately not able to video anything.
Yeah, so notice a lot of people live streaming A-Day in its entirety. I was like, we'll see how long that lasts. But anyway, before we get to QB, so something I noticed a little while ago, there's a couple of posts floating around X that kind of went nuts about the size of this Alabama team. And, a lot of what we're seeing is filmed from cell phone cameras and things like that. You in person, was there really that big of a size discrepancy in this team? I mean, people are kind of, I guess I saw a post saying that Alabama didn't look like it had SEC size, specifically talking about the O-line. I did a comparison
what a mercy
with who we have on the roster compared to like Indiana's O-line, and it's very, very similar, but just the eye test, how do they look size-wise?
That's a large group of people right there. I'm going to go ahead and say those are some massive, massive human beings out there. The defensive line, they look bigger than they did last year, not only with, guys like Jan Pierre, Jeremiah Beeman getting kind of that next year in the system. But you look at a guy like Terrence Green, that's a massive human being. And he got up and he swatted a pass down yesterday. So, you're getting views from the stands and views from people's cell phone cameras and things like that. So, really and truly, take it with a grain of salt, right? This defensive back room is absolutely massive. I mean, it feels like the smallest DB that saw the field yesterday was 6'1". Like if you're 6 foot, which is actually pretty good size for a defensive back, you're considered small in that room. And so this is a really, really good sized team. They're working on the physicality aspect of things here. And so they're trending in the right direction. And that's really what you want to see at this point in, spring and summer and fall camp and things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's, we were joking before we went live about everybody kind of overanalyzing A-Day. And I feel like there's already a lot of that going on, specifically about the offensive line and the running backs. And I try to keep, I try to remind people that ultimately you got to take everything you see at A-Day with a grain of salt, especially in the running game. I saw you reposted Brooks Austin discussing, like, if you saw 30 running back highlights in a spring game, then all of a sudden you got a problem. And I agree with that. Do you think people are kind of overreacting a little bit to the lack of a run game that they saw yesterday?
Alabama fans overreact? Like, wait, I've never heard of this. Wait a second. Do we really overreact like that?
Unfortunately.
But no, I think, like Brooks mentioned, and he does another incredible job with the film guy. Shameless plug for him over there. Not that he needs it. But he does an incredible job over there. No, spring practice is, you're wanting to see what you get, from the quarterbacks and things like that, from the weapons as well. And so you want to avoid a lot of that heavy on heavy contact, because that is where injuries come from. That is where injuries happen. And so, like he said, if you see 30 run highlights, we've got a problem. There's a massive issue. And Agreed. So, and Kalen DeBoer mentioned it yesterday after the scrimmage, right? They're trending in the right direction. Miscommunication was a big issue with last year's offensive line. And he said, yesterday afternoon, that we didn't see a ton of those busted assignments from this year's offensive line at this point in spring practice. So I wouldn't necessarily be overly concerned. You also had some really good plays from the linebacking core. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm watching a play through my, binoculars from 40 yards away. And, and I'm looking at Caleb Woodson coming flying open down the middle of that defense, or Luke Metz, who's, forcing guys outside, and then Justin Hill's able to break a block and make a tackle for loss. So I think they're facing one of the best defenses. A-Day, they faced one of the best defenses they'll face all season long. And unfortunately, it led to the run game not being what we wanted it to be. But I will also say this. If you expected 11 new offensive linemen, who, by the way, are missing somebody who's probably going to be your starting left guard, and William Sanders.
Yeah, Will Sanders
hasn't played all spring. So 11 new faces. You're missing guys. Michael Carroll's playing a brand new position at right guard, something that he hasn't really done at Alabama, and under a new offensive line coach. If you expected them to run for 150 yards on A-Day, that's your problem. That's not my problem. That's not Alabama's problem. That is you having that is you not understanding how football works at that point.
Thank you.
So,
by the way, the best running back wasn't playing, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, EJ Crowell. Big, one of the biggest, one of the fastest on this roster. He hasn't had reps in 3 weeks because of a soft tissue injury. Yeah. By the way,
that's not a big deal when you lose your best running back. That's fine.
No.
So also, Wyatt, kind of piggyback off what you said. If we were to come out yesterday and run for 200 yards, then everybody would be losing their minds at how we couldn't stop the run on defense. So it was like a no-win. No matter what the offense did yesterday, it was either going to be the defense can't stop a nosebleed, or we can't run the ball for anything. So it was like, no matter what the result was, we unhinged BAMs were going to complain about the opposite.
And that's what spring ball's for, right?
Right.
We're going to spend the next 4 months or whatever, 3 months until, our first fall camp video where we get to actually go out and video. We're going to spend the next 3 months analyzing every freaking rep
scrimmage
from A-Day, from a spring scrimmage where I'm not even sure they had 100 plays that they ran. They said they were going to try and have about 100, but we're going to overanalyze for the next 3 to 4 months. Oh my God.
Wyatt, there's still another week of practice.
We still got a whole nother week, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, we got spring meetings coming up. We got media days in July. We get to do all this talking before we get any more practice footage. And by the way, they're going to go through, summer workouts, 7-on-7 and things like that. So, we've got a lot to break down and analyze from A-Day here.
Why? Media days,
all of it.
Media days is in Tampa this year, right?
It is because we've had so much luck with the University of Alabama in Tampa, Florida.
I know. Are you going to be here? Are you going to be in Tampa?
I will be. I will be in Tampa. I've actually I've already reached out to my show, the Deep South College Football Show. We talk Alabama, not just Alabama though. We try and broaden our perspective to the entire SEC. And we get some interesting folks on that. We got a Kentucky fan who calls in.
You found him.
I didn't even know they existed. A Kentucky football fan calls.
You found it. You found the Kentucky fan.
Yes, we did. And then we got a Texas fan that calls in too. And so we talk a lot of Alabama, Texas, and Kentucky. One of the weirdest trios I've ever seen.
I'd say. Where else will you get those three mentioned in the same sentence?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. But all that to say, yes, I will be in Tampa. I've started working on getting a couple of these SEC head coaches for media days to maybe get some interviews. So
cool. That's
awesome.
Cool. I'm only a couple hours. I live in Florida now, and so I'm only a couple hours. So I may head over that way.
I was about to say you will see Cotton in the whatever hotel the thing is at.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm sure I could probably already guess where it's going to be because it's in the same chain of hotels and has been for ever since it left Hoover, basically. So,
sorry, I'm laughing at Herb and Raj. They had a pretty eventful weekend. All right,
hey, shout out to Herb. I'm surprised he's alive right now.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's the sentiment in the chat is that everybody's happy to. That could be Raj typing.
It is Raj. I'm proud of you.
I'm happy at least one of them survived day.
That's it. Well, Raj was in Texas, I think, so that's the only reason. That's why he made it out alive.
There you go. Smart. They can't murk you if you don't go. But, all right. So offensive line. My thing was I felt like going into A-Day, Wyatt, is I just wanted to see some kind of improvement with the offensive line and the running backs. And I feel like I got to see that. It wasn't pretty all the time. Like you mentioned, Will Sanders isn't playing. You got guys out all over the place. But we saw some stuff that I felt like can be built upon. And you talked about Kalen DeBoer's comments here in your article. Did you drop this last night or this morning? Or
published it last night, but it went out on all the social platforms and things like that this morning. I think I published it at 11:58 last night. So I was not sending out app alerts at that point.
Yeah, great article, by the way. I read over it this morning. I just put it in the chat for everybody. But sorry about that, Jeff. Could you fix that for me? But another thing, man, we got to talk about, and this is going to be touchy for some folks. Let's knock it out. Quarterbacks. Everybody is now coining Keelan Russell the starter. Now, I think there obviously was some separation in what we saw, but I think we got to slow down, listen to Coach DeBoer, what he said post-game, like you mentioned in your article about Austin Mack being a little dinged up. What did you see from the quarterbacks, both guys, if you will, that made you feel good or maybe didn't make you feel good?
We'll start with everybody's QB1 after the weekend, Keelan Russell here. The university also did not give us official stats. They basically just stuck us out there on the field or on the north end zone where the recruits are and said, "Hey, figure it out from there." So we're hand keeping stats.
Right.
I've got multiple pages of just stats from A-Day that I was hand keeping the entire time. So these are very rough numbers.
You're good.
Hey, bring that back up, Wyatt. Let me see that again. That's amazing.
I had to hand keep. I hand charted every single play.
That is beautiful.
It's reminiscent of my days in high school football, man. There's not a grind in the media like high school football. But anyways,
no, dude, yeah.
It looks like the notebook I kept of all my RBI baseball stats when I was a kid playing Nintendo.
Yes,
awesome.
But no. So I kept track of every play there, and Keelan Russell had roughly 220 yards and 4 scores. He had the 1 interception in red zone as well. Austin Mack finished with over 100 yards and a touchdown as well. So we'll start with Keelan Russell here. He looked really, really good. And everything that I've been hearing is his ceiling. I was told his ceiling is a 6'3" Bryce Young, which is utterly phenomenal. And start to see him work kind of in the right direction this past Saturday at A-Day. Now, there were some things that, you want to see him maybe take a couple more steps in the right direction, right? Limiting turnover-worthy plays, right? Where he had, the interception to Dijon Lee That maybe wasn't 100% his fault, but the pass was also behind the receiver on that play. So it was kind of a bang, bang. Defense makes a good play and capitalizes on a mistake. But then on his first drive of the game, he fumbled the snap and was thankfully fortunate enough that he was able to catch it and scramble for 2 yards. So you want to see
it a shotgun snap or under center?
I believe it was shotgun. It was maybe a miscommunication. Okay. Matter of fact, I got it written down here. If you'll give me 1 second.
You're thinking. I love that he's referencing it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Snap, fumble, shotgun, 1 yard gain with the second team offense there. So he's catching it from Caden Strayhorn, who was the backup or who was the second string center yesterday afternoon. So a little bit of a miscommunication, but you want to see him limit those turnover worthy plays. And that's been such a big communication point from the coaching staff to these quarterbacks. And for Austin Mack, he is banged up. He's Kalen DeBoer mentioned that after the scrimmage. So I'd pump the brakes on, anointing Keelan Russell as this. He's the savior. He's the QB1. He may end up being QB1.
Sure.
But like we said, 5 minutes ago, we've got a long ways to go. We still got summer workouts, summer 7-on-7, media days, fall camp, couple of scrimmages in fall camp. We got a lot of time between April 12th and September 5th.
Yeah, long way to go, man.
Just think if he looked awful. Think if he looked terrible yesterday, the meltdown that would be happening today.
Oh yeah. but no, so Keelan looked really, really good. That was a step in the right direction. If we were playing East Carolina today, I think Keelan Russell's probably the guy that's out there, not only just based on what he did Saturday, but also the fact that Austin Mack's banged up, right? So you want to get both these guys healthy, get them working through the summer. And to me, with Austin Mack getting banged up or injured, it now feels more like this quarterback competition's been put on pause until he gets healthy. Now in fall camp, if Keelan goes out there scrimmage number 1 and is, does the same thing, 220 and 220 and 4 scores, I'll take 4 touchdowns to 1 interception.
Yeah, me too.
If he's doing that every week, if he's doing that every week, that's 48-12 over the course of the season.
I'll take that.
I'll take it, man.
Sure. That'll
absolutely work. It's also the job, whoever it ends up being, Keelan Russell or Austin Mack. It looks, I don't want to say easier, but it looks like it's going to be easier this year, because something I noticed, Wyatt, on just, all this footage we see coming out is it looks like Kalen DeBoer finally has his big wide receiving room. We're talking some absolute dudes. Just Caleb Edwards, obviously CD Morgan was a very, I don't want to call him a surprise, but he popped off a good bit yesterday. What are you taking away from this wide receiving room?
This is the room this room is built exactly the way Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb wanted it. Yeah. You've got the big bodies in Sedarian Morgan, who, seeing him run around in number 8, making the plays that he did yesterday.
I know. Say it.
Be still my beating heart, man. Be still my beating heart on that one. But no, Derek Meadows also had some really nice plays. Yeah. He had the really kind of acrobatic catch on what maybe wasn't Austin Mack's best ball of the day, but it ended up working out in favor for both of them. So you've got 2 big bodies in that. You've got Ryan Coleman Williams, who looked pretty daggum good yesterday. I know he had the stumble on the one route, but he did really, really good adjusting to the ball that Austin Mack had to throw. And that was the first highlight in the video that UA put out yesterday. That 6.5 minute video, first play, boom, big catch by Ryan Coleman Williams there. So, and then obviously, Lottie Brooks had a couple of big time plays in the scrimmage. I really like the wrinkle that they threw out there. I like that we got to see a few wrinkles too from this offense, but the wrinkle where, Keelan Russell takes it and kind of flips it up to Lottie, and then he just kind of works his way through traffic and ended up picking up a first down yesterday.
Yeah. I know what play you're referencing now.
So looking at this receiving corps, this is built almost exactly the way Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb want it to. Really, really unfortunate what happened to Noah Rogers. We don't have an exact explanation of what happened, but DeBoer mentioned he's going to get an MRI. That play where he got hurt was actually right in front of us. That was in the end zone that we were sitting in. So we got a really good look at it. He comes down kind of awkward on that left leg on the pass breakup by Red Morgan. They carry him to the injury tent, no weight on that left leg. And then about 5 minutes later, he's got no pads. He's got a brace on that left knee, and they've carted him to the locker room. So you hope it's nothing, too serious. If they braced it, it's a stability concern, but At that point, we just kind of got to wait and see what we get
So
from
it's a knee injury. Looks like a knee injury.
Yeah, they had a brace on
Okay.
that knee, so I would categorize it as a knee injury at this point, and they're worried about stability, which can be a multitude. It could be the MCL, it could be the ACL, it could also just be such a really bad sprain that he's out for the next month, but he'll be fine come fall camp. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what the coaching staff tells us on that front as well there. But no, this receiving core, I expect them to be really, really good for Alabama. And I expect to see some of those rotations that you saw last year, right? Where it's not just Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Coleman-Williams out there. Lottie Brooks is going to get reps. Darren Meadows is going to get reps. Sadarian Morgan's going to be really damn difficult to get off the field. Sorry about pardon my French there.
You're fine.
He's going to be really difficult to keep off the field there. And then not only those guys, but that tight end room as well. Caleb Edwards had a couple of big catches.
Yes, sir.
Marshall Pritchett caught one of the touchdowns, and Josh Ford was running wide open in the end zone, and Keelan couldn't quite just get that ball to him. But your top three tight ends also had some really good days from a blocking and and receiving perspective there.
Yeah. I will say, offensively, and we'll jump over because we only have it for a couple more minutes, but we'll jump over the defensive side. Offensively, it did look a little more comfortable. I made that comment about Alabama's offense in the regular season last year. There were days where it just looked really uncomfortable. The scrimmage looked more comfortable, but also it looked a little more physical. Is that just me, just kind of wishful thinking, or is that something you picked up as well?
No, physicality is something that they put a really, really big emphasis on. And Clint referenced this play, and the video ended up making its way to Twitter as well, or X as well, where Stephen Boomout just absolutely grown man just boom, smoked AK Deer. Props to AK Deer for not making a business decision right there.
Yeah, I would have.
I'm not hitting that dude.
Yeah,
he's coming at me full force. Heck no, dude. I'm out of that. But no, you saw some of the physicality from the offensive and defensive line that you've been wanting to see from both sides of the ball there for Alabama. And that's been a big point of emphasis here through spring ball. We got to see practice last Tuesday before A-Day. And I think in everybody's video, you could see and hear, Kane Womack and Freddie Roach screaming, violence. I need more violence from the defensive line. So that's been a really big sticking point as well.
Absolutely. So overall, and again, we're taking everything with a grain of salt. It's a scrimmage, but we have nothing else to talk about. What's something that kind of stood out to you the most, maybe impressed you the most? And what's something that kind of maybe gave you a red flag? Like, oh man, I thought we'd be a little bit further along here.
I will say I was really impressed with the secondary. I know we just spent all this time, praising the offense and the quarterbacks, but that secondary looked really freaking good as well.
Very good.
Oh, by the way, you had two All-Americans that didn't play in that scrimmage. I feel like not many people have talked about the fact that Xavier Brown and Bray Hubbard never saw the field yesterday, and yet that defense still looked really daggum good. So looking at that there, if they're going to be that good, Jaira Edwards getting reps with the first team, Carmelo O'Neal getting reps with the first team, Red Morgan, Dijon Lee as your outside corners, was Keon Sabb back deep. If that does kind of end up being a good group for you, and then you plop in Bray Hubbard and Xavier Brown, two All-American level talents there, I see no reason why this can't be the best secondary in the country and one of the deepest in the country.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't think people outside of
tallest.
Well, dude, outside of the Alabama space, I don't think people realize how deep, like Wyatt just brought it up, how deep the secondary really is and how much talent's back there. Dude, the secondary's got me super fired up, as well as the front, the defensive front. There was a lot of portal production that we saw yesterday in that scrimmage. And if, those two units typically complement each other, how'd you feel about the defensive line, what you got to see?
I thought they looked pretty well, actually, compared to what maybe, a lot of people were expecting. It's also just a lot of new faces in that room, right? You had Terrence Green did a couple of good things. I mentioned the batted ball he had earlier. Yanze Pierre was just a force to be reckoned with basically the entire day. And then you also had, Justin Hill made some really good plays, had 2 TFLs on some really nice plays there. So, and then also Devin Tompkins out of USC. He didn't make a ton of noise, but he was consistently there. And that's what you wanted to see out of this defensive line group. And so, by the way, Jeremiah Beeman didn't participate yesterday at all. And London Simmons has been out the entirety of spring.
Yeah, same story.
So I'm already comfortable with what this defensive line looked like yesterday. And oh, by the way, you're adding London Simmons, a freshman all-SEC. You're adding Jeremiah Beeman, who kind of wrecked shop against Florida State, one of the few bright spots against Florida State before suffering that knee injury in practice leading up to ULM. So I think this was one big giant step in the right direction for Alabama here. Obviously, long ways to go, but this was a step in the right direction from A-Day. And then you had asked about red flags, right?
Yeah, any red flags?
Special teams. Connor Talty, man.
You say what you need to say, Wyatt.
We've known what we got. He missed 7 kicks last year, so we know what.
Say what you need to say.
He was 1 for 2 yesterday.
Speak your truth, Wyatt.
One of his misses was from 37 yards. Meanwhile, Lorcan Quinn had made 2 from 47.
Yeah, I also heard that Talty was struggling pretty good in warmups.
He was not having his best day while we were sitting out there. So I mean, from that perspective, Lorcan Quinn, man, I'll probably put out some sort of a projected. So I did this going into spring ball, projecting Alabama's kind of roster or starting roster prior to spring practice. Yeah. I'll probably do another one this week of projecting Alabama's starting roster after spring practice.
I like that.
I'll probably put that out this week as well here. If you're doing any form of roster projection, I don't know how you don't put Lorcan Quinn as the starting kicker. And then the one punt we saw yesterday, unfortunately, here, hang on.
I was just about to ask you about. Punting is what I'm worried about too.
The one punt you had yesterday, Alex Asparuov, I think that's how you pronounce his name according to my call sheet UA gave us here, shanked that thing maybe 20 yards. Just absolutely. It looked like it hit the side of his foot and just gone the wrong direction. Yeah. So special teams, I'm still a little concerned about. Maybe a little bit less concerned if Lorcan Quinn is consistently hitting some of these kicks here. But still, there were some moves that I was not surprised with, like Chris Kapilovic. I feel a little more comfortable saying this now that the move has happened. I've been hearing about that for a while.
Yeah.
But when they decided to let him go, there's a couple of moves that I'm surprised they didn't make this offseason, and I feel like some major changes special teams was one of the ones I was expecting that they didn't end up making.
Too.
Yeah, a lot of you probably don't want to say it for professional reasons, so I'll say it. But I know a lot of the fan base wanted Coach Nunez out, but so yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I'm with you on Lorcan Quinn. Hey, I noticed on the first kickoff they had Ryan Williams back there as a returner. I don't remember who was the returner. Didn't they do another kickoff at some point in time? I
believe they did. I believe it was, based on what I could tell, it was Ryan Williams, Lottie Brooks were kind of your top two. Okay. And then I wouldn't be shocked if they wanted like Trayshawn Brown, who, by the way, I shame on me for not bringing him up so far because he looked really, really freaking good. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if, they try to get him on the field, maybe on a kickoff unit. We've seen kind of some of these, running backs maybe a little bit lower on the depth chart make their way on, make their name on kickoff units. And Josh Jacobs tells the story all the time of how he got his start on kick return there. So, but Trayshawn Brown, he's going to be really, really nasty. I was kind of surprised he got reps with the first team yesterday because at later on throughout the scrimmage, they kind of shuffled some of the matchups more. And I think through the first 8 drives here, I've got my chart. I've got my notes here again. Give me 1 second. Through the first 8 or 9 drives, we didn't really see Trayshawn Brown kind of work his way with a unit better than the second unit there.
Yeah.
And then suddenly in red zone, he's with the first team. He's and you're basing this based kind of what our first team guys, right? Ryan Coleman Williams, Jackson Lloyd. We know they're first team guys. So I'm looking up there and I see 12 and 17 in the backfield. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is a big deal here. And he made some really, really, really explosive plays, made some really good plays there. And it was good to see that, right? A lot of times we hear noise from guys and, he's running over everybody that he's, come up against. He's making guys miss and he just looks so phenomenal. And then, we get a little more detail and it's, well, he's doing it against walk-ons. He's doing it against the third string. So to see him have some success against the second team, against the first team, I think was really, really important for a guy like him. If he's not contributing this year, I'd look for him to be explosive and burst onto the scene in 2027.
Agreed. So there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth, and the horse being Wyatt Fulton here. Wyatt, dude, we're at the 30-minute mark. I told you 20, 30 minutes, so we want to be respectful of your time. Please tell everybody where they can find you.
You can follow me on X at FultonW_. We just crossed 7,000 followers. So big thank you to everybody who has followed my page. I don't know why y'all decide to listen to my opinion, but I'll take it, man. And then we also have the show on Tide 100.9. If you're in Tuscaloosa, turn that radio to 100.9. If you're not in Tuscaloosa, we have an app where you can listen to me and any of our other show hosts as well. I'm on from 1 to 2 o'clock daily with the Deep South College football show. So would appreciate, any sort of follow, any sort of listen. We've also got a show page as well, deep_south_CFB on X.
Okay, we'll put it in the chat for you, man. Yeah, we'll give it a listen. I listen to the Miller's Edge over there. So yeah, we'll definitely give your show a shout out, a listen. You guys make sure you're listening to them tomorrow. You said that's 1 o'clock Central Time, correct?
Yes, 1 to 2 Central Time. And by the way, shout out Christian Miller. Yesterday, he won Best Sports Talk Show in a Medium Market at the Alabama Broadcasters Association Awards. So they break it down by market. Break it down by market. Huntsville, Mobile, Birmingham, and Montgomery are your large markets. Cities that are sized like Tuscaloosa are probably your more medium markets in the state. And so Christian Miller, Best Sports Talk Show in a medium-sized market, third straight year that we've won that on Tide 100.9.
Congrats to you too, then, man. That's fantastic, dude.
It's great news.
Well, great stuff, man. Thanks for sharing your insight with us, Wyatt. Thanks for supporting the show, man. Absolutely love the work you do. And we hope you're welcome back anytime. Once you get that projection depth chart after post-spring, I would really love to get you back on and talk more about that.
Absolutely. It's I'll have it out this week, so just hit me up. I love jumping on with you guys. Love jumping on with any show that'll have me. So just let me know when and I'll be here.
We sure will, dude. Thanks for joining us, man. Roll Tide, Wyatt.
Roll Tide.
Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. All right. That was pretty good stuff, man.
That was good stuff.
I like Wyatt, dude. Wyatt's good. He's low-key funny too. I love it.
Yeah.
So all right. Moving on. So we talked all about A-Day again, because that's what we're gonna do for a while. But that's not all, Jeff. We're gonna talk about your other favorite thing starting this week on our live on Thursday.
The big R word.
The big R word, folks. Yeah. It's recruiting season.
Yeah.
Always be recruiting, baby. Nice. I give you guys.
I was always looking for a reason to do Scream Man sound effect. That's it.
Jeff hates projections and recruiting, but that's okay.
It's okay. I love everybody though, so my love from our people.
That's right.
My hatred for that stuff.
A little bit of recruiting news yesterday after A-Day. Avery and Paulie Jr. You guys probably remember him. He famously stood us up on the show a few weeks ago. Agreed to be on. We made all the graphics, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good." No, he forgot. He had practice run late. But anyway, he committed yesterday. I know that one, he's a 3-star guy. Doesn't move the needle for a lot of people, but definitely one of those underrated diamond in the rough type guys. Him, Antoine Jackson, edge. He's not committed yet, but just keep an eye out. And then the big one that we're all watching is number 1 QB, Elijah Haven. He set a announcement date for April 25th. He was at A-Day yesterday as well, so that's when we're going to watch closely. I feel like the floodgates are going to open up. We're working on getting you guys these interviews. I know you love them. So we're gonna keep what was I about to say? I don't know. We're gonna keep trucking along. But all right, let's go to the comments, man. We didn't check a lot of comments out. Let's see who got here first. I know this was
Ayla was up in here.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
My favorite.
We got to give her a round of applause.
I'm getting there. It takes like 5 minutes. There we go.
There it is.
Good job, Kayla. My favorite.
Win. All right. Getbox 747.
Getbox.
Yeah, I love the name. This thing was indeed on, Lance. It was on. Roll Tide Thomas. Cotton candy and half baked.
Red finger number 1. You could just use the emoji, and then you don't have to type out the whole thing. You know?
It's just stupid. I think sometimes StreamYard doesn't recognize the emoji, so it'll just give you the chat. That's funny.
Agent has some of those where it'll be like silver wave, high five, or something like that. I'm like, what?
What's up, Jay Walker? How you doing?
Hey,
Roll
Walker.
Tide. Herb and Raj from the Herb and Raj podcast. If you're not hanging with Herb and Raj, I don't know what you're doing through life. Make sure you go check them out. Fallen Angel, thank you for reposting the stream, man. Agents,
Fallen Angel,
Greg, we need creatures on the lines. We got creatures. If you're talking about the O line, I suggest you follow me over on X at Alafriggin Bama. We'll put it in the chat in a second, but I actually did a comparison between Alabama's offensive line right now, their size, their measurables compared to Indiana's national championship offensive line, and the results may surprise you. So go check that out. And I also forgot, I realized when Wyatt was talking, I forgot to put Caden Strayhorn on there, but that's okay. How is everybody? Kayla, we're excellent. It's been a good weekend. All right. My only concern is O-line. I hope it's the same five. Yeah, this is a good point, Fallen Angel. I am not a fan of this plug and play rotational stuff. I'm hoping that at some point in time they identify the five guys and we roll. I thought that's what was going to happen when a few weeks ago Ryan Grubb came out and announced that Jackson Lloyd was a starting left tackle, and Michael Carroll at the time starting right tackle, and then all of a sudden Carroll gets moved to guard, Javen James is playing tackle, and you're just like, what happened? And Kalen DeBoer came out and basically made it sound like, yeah, we want the pieces, but we also want to keep trying things out and seeing what works. So hopefully they finalize that offensive line soon. I have to imagine Adrian Clem is probably the kind of guy that wants his personnel so that he can just roll. He's definitely got these guys mentally where they need to be. There were some instances I saw, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, in the 8-day game where they were still kind of getting shoved around, pushed around a little bit, but it was better than what we saw live game action just a couple of weeks ago or a few weeks ago. So,
well, and you want to try these combos out now. You don't want to try them out all season like we were doing last year with mediocre linemen. Didn't matter the combination, and most of them stunk. So now's the time, spring and fall, really the beginning of fall camp, spring camp and the beginning of fall camp, where you want to try these pieces. I'd say about 2 weeks before the start of the season, you want your five guys in there so you can start getting timing and reps and a little bit of cohesiveness there. Yeah,
I agree with you, man. And five guys, you made me hungry. So just kidding.
I get some fries from Five Guys.
$30
they bring out a barrel of them, so
sure.
It's like you never finish them all.
It says Daniel Hill and Deere will be our main two rotation. Maybe, man. Maybe
more than two.
Yeah, I do. Now I will say, Clint on his live yesterday brought up the depth in this running back room and how there's just not going to be enough snaps for all these dudes, and he's right. He's absolutely right. And I see you go on to say that Riley's going to end up getting bounced out of the rotation, probably finish running back 3 or 4. It depends, man. I think Riley's going to end up being a really good receiving option out of the backfield. A lot of that dictates what happens with EJ Crowell. Does Crowell just kind of take the back seat as the freshman? He gets the carries next season. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think a lot of that depends on what Crowell shows us. If he's dominating practice, and making the most of his reps when he gets in these early games, then you're not gonna be able to keep him off the field. Remember I said yesterday, talent rises to the top, and you can't keep talent off the field just because he's a freshman anymore. So if he's not ready to play, you can't play him, but or in meaningful snaps, because there's so much that goes into being a running back other than just running the ball. There's blitz pickups, pass protection, running routes, chip blocks, recognizing, where the blitz is coming from. There's so much that goes in to playing running back. So sometimes it takes the guys a little bit longer to pick up those other things. But in terms of talent-wise, you're not going to be able to keep him off the field, I don't think. That guy looks like he could play right now.
Sure. Alpha Dog, Lloyd, James, Carroll, in case of injury, is solid. Need a fourth to emerge. Not sure that guy Brooks. Yeah, Nick Brooks. Yeah, Nick Brooks has a long way to go. I'm not sure if he would be a tackle option, but maybe Ty Haywood. Keep in mind, you've got Will Sanders too. He's not playing right now, but he's injured.
I believe that's going to be the left guard.
Yeah, he is. He'll be left guard for sure.
But yes, Brooks, I couldn't see Brooks playing tackle. Those guys that are that big, it's tough to play tackle.
He's like 6'9", right?
When they're 6'9", 800 pounds. I mean, that guy's a massive beast.
Put his butt at guard.
Yeah, he seems more guard. I mean, those big guys, you get those fast edges out there, and they can't keep them. Can't keep them out.
Really good question here from Ken, the Bama fan. What do you expect to change the last two practices? I think there'll be some more emphasis on offensive line and running back scheme, strategy, probably fundamentals. Honestly, communication. I don't think there's going to be a ton that'll change out of this scrimmage, just because I would imagine they probably want to get out of the spring as healthy as possible. You had a little bit of a rough day during A-Day in the injury department. So I'm not saying they're not going to work on anything. They certainly are, but I don't think you push too hard right now. Alabama has not done well with the injury bug in the past 18 months. So, yeah, it's been rough. So
it was like every week we go, okay, who's going down and practice this week?
Yeah. But I don't know. Overall, I think, just special teams like Wyatt brought up. Everybody that watched A-Day, watched warm-ups, kind of felt pretty strongly that Lorcan Quinn definitely outperformed Connor Talty. So maybe that's something that changes that expectation there. Or maybe you're talking about more of development-wise for the team. I'm hoping that Kane Womack and this staff really kind of look at how they're using the South Carolina transfer, Desmond Umeozulu. They put him kind of in that four-tech, that four awesome yesterday, and Clint posted this too, and it didn't go well for him. He wasn't getting low enough, and so I'm hoping that the staff could kind of figure out a way to utilize him and put him in a better position to be effective. They were trying to do some packages and get him on the field at the same time as Janze Pierre. I've been kind of lobbying for that, but I was lobbying more for Pierre and Justin Hill. So, I think defensively, kind of going back to the table, looking at everything you've got, right? All these puzzle pieces, or chess pieces, I should say, that Kane Womack's got, and how he can move them around. I think offensively, it is continuing to build on the foundation that we saw yesterday from that offensive line, the quarterback, and the running backs, but remaining as healthy as possible.
That's the key. Come out of here as healthy as possible.
I hope you're right. You're
healthy
not wrong,
as possible, please. No,
you're not wrong.
No catastrophic injuries. We're gonna get dinged up. That's just football, but just nothing catastrophic.
Yeah. And keep in mind, man, I don't think Ken, I see your comment about Trayshawn Brown. Like, I don't think Alabama's going to approach their running back room in 2026 as this is the guy, he's 1, he's 2, he's 3. I saw nothing the last 2 seasons under Kalen DeBoer to suggest that. Maybe it was injuries, necessity out of injuries, but Alabama seemed to kind of bounce around their running backs a lot throughout the season. I kind of expect them to do that the same thing. When I say running back by committee, that's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Also, they'll look and utilize running back strategically based off of the game plan. But I saw some things yesterday with the running backs that I thought were pretty positive. First of all, all of them catching the ball out of the backfield. And obviously with Trayshawn Brown, the work he was able to do in open space got people really excited. It got me really excited. But still, there was progress on the ground. And something we have to remember about this offense, and I said this in a video that I posted earlier today, is this isn't a power style offense. Alabama's run, well, not under Kalen DeBoer.
That's what I meant. Kalen DeBoer's offense never has been.
Yeah. Alabama's MO under Kalen DeBoer is not inside power runs and things like that. It is stretching opponents out. It is zone plays, outside zone, stretches, all sorts of stuff, things that complement the passing game, opening up lanes for the middle passing game. That's what the running game is designed to do. So Alabama doesn't have to have a run game that's elite in 2026. I feel like I've said this a lot. They just need one that produces somewhat and takes some of the pressure off of the quarterback. I didn't see anything from A-Day yesterday to make me feel like that is going to be the case or that isn't going to be the case. I saw some good things, saw some bad things. So, but I think I am optimistic, cautiously so.
Yeah.
Cautiously said. Let's talk about.
I mean, that's where it's good to be coming out of there.
Let's talk about the other side of the ball here for a second before we finish up, Jeff. Defensively, you've heard me talk a lot about this inside linebacking room. Talked a lot about it. It's a big question mark for me going into spring football. They looked the part, dude. They looked really good. Luke Metz, Caden Jones. He started there. Caden Jones, Luke Metz, obviously Caleb Woodson, the Virginia Tech transfer. QB Reese at times looked extremely physical and in control and in command. To Wyatt's point, man, this defense in Tuscaloosa, we could be looking at a top 5 defense.
Looking at a top 5 defense. You're right. You're absolutely right. Speed. The guys look fast.
They do look fast. They look aggressive.
Fast.
I saw somebody post that their biggest takeaway was that the defense looked terrible in A-Day, and I'm not really sure what they were, if that was serious, if they were trolling, or where that came from. You know what I'm talking about?
There's no clue where that came from. Yeah, there's zero clue. There was some tweet that was like, the guys look small, and I'm like, yeah, you're sitting 200 yards away from the field. Yeah, no kidding. Well, this is an SEC size. What?
Yeah, that's what I was referencing earlier. I saw that too. I was just like, I went straight to
what's SEC size? What does that mean?
I guess they want big, slow offensive.
They want football of 10 years ago. They think Alabama still needs to line up like they were 10, 12 years ago. And
it's not just Alabama. It's the SEC as a whole. The trenches are getting smaller all throughout college football. So.
Everywhere. Yes. Agreed.
Bro, yes. So Darian Morgan was probably the biggest bright spot for me coming out of A-Day. We knew he was going to be good. I will say I hate the idea of a Noah Rogers injury, him missing time, but it's more digestible after seeing CD Morgan the first time with Alabama. So I'm not saying that I hope that Noah Rogers is hurt and doesn't play because CD Morgan will get more reps, but I'm just saying I'm more comfortable with Morgan. So
yeah.
Jeff agrees with you.
My friend Bob Sacamano has an idea how to run practice.
Hey, he's not wrong, dude. Like, what's going on?
Shout out to the Kramer and Bob Sacamano. That's funny. I was going to highlight that comment just for the handle name alone.
Yeah, but Lance, everybody now, is talking about the length of Reuben Bain's arms, man. And so for those of you who don't know, those were the two guys that were absolutely making life hell for opposing quarterbacks for the University of Miami last season.
Bain was a beast last year.
Messidor was good too, dude. Bain, outside of Alabama, Bain was one of my favorite players to watch last season. That dude was legit, man.
I don't know, Jay Bake. That's a good question. I've said all along this is Max last year, whether he starts or whether he doesn't. I think this is his last year.
Yeah, dude, you got to think like if we're gonna keep Jet Samala, Taden Kawa, Trent Seaborn coming in, you're gonna have Keelan
possibly Haven
these 2 years, possibly Elijah Haven. There's really no incentive even for him to redshirt for 2 years because he's just gonna have to compete at a very high level to win a job.
Level.
So it would make more sense for him to kind of back. Now, maybe in a sense of him medically redshirting so that he can transfer somewhere and play 2 years, potentially.
Yeah, it just won't be here.
Yeah, fake injury.
Because if he balls out, he's going in the draft. If he doesn't win the job, Keelan's is going to be here for 2 years. So he's not going to sit and wait this year and next year and then compete in 28. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Possibly to save.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if that's what
I get you now.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that.
I could 100% see that for sure.
I thought you meant here, Jay Bake. My bad.
Yeah, I did
You're
too.
Right. You're right.
My brain went straight to trying to keep him at Alabama.
Yeah,
I'm like, at
same
that
here.
point,
Sorry.
You're
right though. Could
Yeah.
save it for for him to transfer and have 2 years somewhere else.
The thing is, if Elijah Haven commits, and right now every major recruiting outlet expects him to commit to Alabama, and that commitment holds to signing, then you're losing somebody. You're losing somebody.
The DeBoer can't recruit crowd. Look at this quarterback room. If Elijah Haven commits,
absolutely ridiculous.
This guy's throwing to receivers that are 6'4", 235 already. Like, come on.
Hey, I got to tell you, man. Like I don't want to be the guy that says it's going to be Keelan Russell affirmatively, but if I had to guess who it's going to be today, it's Keelan Russell. I went back and watched a lot of what he was doing yesterday.
The plays that he ran the ball looked. I mean, he deked somebody, left their ACL in the middle of the field. I'm surprised it didn't blow his ACL out. That guy that he deked on that one scramble where he kind of did that little hesitation step where he was just kind of like scoot like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was like, oh, he blew his knee out. There goes somebody down.
Dude,
The unofficial UA coaches would have been proud. That'd have been a mama there goes my ankles moment.
He had 2 balls that were pause. He had 2 balls that he threw that were beautifully layered. And one of them he did, actually, I think it was both those throws. He preceded them with this gorgeous sidestep to, I'm trying to be professional, Jeff. Damn it. He did it.
That was beautiful.
He did
Down
it.
in my plums. Yes, the play you're talking about where he slid left, which allowed the time for Waldrop to come around and clean up that second guy that was pursuing behind the first guy.
Yeah.
And Lloyd got to spin and drive his guy out of there too.
Yeah, there was a lot of positive stuff I saw, and it wasn't. Stop it, chat. It wasn't just Keelan Russell.
Too late. You knew it was going to derail after that.
No, it's a good thing we're almost done.
But yes, even it wasn't like spectacular looking. It wasn't like he deked a guy and spun out and rolled out and through. He shifted just. He had enough presence to slide just enough. Tom Brady made a career out of this. Yeah. Just slide stepping and letting the defender go by, or giving his offensive lineman a chance to come back. And you said on that post, looked like a little miscommunication that they both went to the same guy, but him coming around there let Waldrop pivot and Lloyd pivot as well, and they both were able to recover so he could get the throw off. Oh, Kayla. It's over. It was a good run, guys. We appreciate you on Way Offsides. Appreciate y'all. It was a great run.
There's a reason the show's called Way Offsides. While we're in this comedy break, go ahead and subscribe if you're new here. If you're watching after the fact, I forgot to say it. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. That's probably going to do it for Jeff and I. I think we're going to wind down for the evening, get ready for the work week. A lot of fun content coming out this week.
Y'all, we're almost to 9K. We're so close to 9K. Spread the word. Man.
Yeah, get us there.
Spread the word that we back up.
We coming. Yeah, but gonna be doing a little more kind of impromptu lives like this. Obviously, our main live show will be stay on Thursday nights this week. EG, a lot of you love her content. She'll be on the show with us if her schedule permits. Big if. Working on some recruiting interviews. We'll have Wyatt back on, Clint, the whole gang. It's
gonna be a good summer.
Yeah, it is gonna be a good summer. Still working on getting
a lot of content.
Yeah, still working on getting that Christian Miller / Landon Tigwell / Clint Lamb right here. Jeff and I, when that show happens, we'll just stay in the back room and just let them run everything. We'll produce the show for them. So
we couldn't possibly add anything to that conversation.
Yeah,
at all. Bring you guys some water.
Yeah. Do you need me to turn your mic up?
Yeah, I can adjust your mic. Maybe I can pull up a clip of something if you need it. But hey,
Bikini Thursdays. Okay.
And if y'all follow EG, you'll know she's everywhere. So we're going to do our best to get her Thursday. We have made contact, so she's going to try to work it out. But if you follow her, you see she was on the show with Dari Noka or somebody doing Oklahoma Sooner podcast, and I was like, that looks like EG, and she's everywhere, dude.
I was
like, what?
Yeah, she's on. She was with Josh Pate a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
she's busy. So
she's
we'll get her on though. We'll get her on. We gave her start. I'm just kidding. EG, just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Jedi
Please.
Master EG.
Yeah, we give a lot of people starts around YouTube. We get somebody on and then they pop up everywhere. So I said what I said.
It happens.
Anyway.
It happens. Keep her away from Swalwell.
Okay. All right. As always, folks, enjoy your evening. Please. Tomorrow's Monday. I get it. It sucks, but I'm going to have content for you tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. As always, man, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands. Horns down, baby. Beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide, y'all.